Welcome to our next practice model of Too Tall Toby. This practice model is dated 3/9/2024, which is a lift strut. This model is fairly easy to build. For the bottom part of it, it's really a bunch of cylinders for your base here, the bottom two pieces, and a cutout through there. The only tricky piece is really this top part because it actually maintains this curvature of 19 and it's got to go through this shape. So some things to note, it doesn't give you a whole lot of dimensions for where these things are, so you have to do some math to find out where things are located inside of here. And I'll try to call these out when I dimension this or build this in IronCAD. So let's go ahead and show you how to do this, and we're going to use a mixture of IronCAD's drag and drop features and a couple sketches to build a sweep path. So let's go ahead and show you how that's done. So again, we're going to start out with our cylinders. We'll just drag and drop that out. And we can set the value of this as a 38 diameter. And it's got a height of 6 millimeters, basically to give it that middle section of our part. Next, we're going to do our bottom piece of this. So I'm just going to drag and drop out another one precisely in the center. And we know the diameter of that one is 28 and the overall height of that is 30. So we can quickly type in those values to get that. And last, we can go ahead and drop another cylinder out here, which is going to be a diameter of 20, and it's going to snap all the way up to this bottom edge. So we'll just hold our shift key down, pull a handle, snap it to the edge. So that's fairly easy to do in IronCAD. And next, we'll just go ahead and do this cutout, and I'm going to drag and drop it on the center here, and it's going to point up, which is fine. We can use our tribal to rotate that, and you can lock an axis to rotate, or whichever one you want to rotate about, or you can actually grab one of these handles and pull it onto a face, and it'll rotate and be perpendicular to that face. So that gives us the rotation there for that shape. And we'll just move it up from the bottom. It has a dimension or a reference location of 15 millimeters from the bottom, and that shape has a diameter value. In this case, has a diameter value of 8 millimeters for that. So that gives us our location for that. And our top piece needs to be in line with this. So I'll show you how we're going to do that as well. So next, we're going to do a sweep, and we can do our sketches for our sweep in the command itself, or we can do them individually. So I'll show you kind of a mixture of both just so you can see this. So I'll start with a 2D shape out here, and we're going to put one on a normal to a face, and I'll do this point here. Normal to face at this point. There we go, origin point there. And you can see that it's aligning this direction. We want it to be aligned the other way. So the way we do that is go ahead and hit OK. And we can just use our tribal inside of here. We can lock the axis. And again, we can just rotate that over 90 degrees. It doesn't really matter which way it goes. And then we can use this tool down at the bottom called a flat view, which will toggle between the positive and negative of that. So we can rotate that around, but notice it is actually in the plane or direction of our hole here. So what we're doing is we're going to build this sweep path for the shape because it has that curvature of this outside cylinder. So what we're going to do is going to start with a rectangle here. And we know, if you look at the dimensions, we're going to put our shape here at the very end here. And we're going to draw that out, and it needs to be 38 wide, and it's going to need to be 15 millimeters high. So if you take the 36 minus the 51, it'll give you that 15 millimeter high value there. So that gives us our starting shape, and then we put a cylinder here from there, from the center point to the outside, and we can just trim off basically all the stuff that we don't need, which is all this middle inner stuff that we don't need here. We just want this as our sweep path. So that gives us our basic shape for that. We'll go ahead and hit finish. That gives us that starting point, and now we'll start our sweep command. So as I mentioned, when you do the sweep command, you can actually build the shapes here for both your path and your section. So you can start them directly inside the command. So you don't have to build them first, then use them after the fact. So in our case, we are going to go ahead and build our section here. So we're going to go ahead and say click anew, and we're going to build a section, and we're going to do a normal to curve. So we already have our profile here. So we'll just go ahead and select this, and we're going to start it at that point as our normal direction. So I'll hit finish to create that, and we can zoom in here a little bit to get that to update. So now that we have this shape, what we're going to do is we're going to build our rectangle here. So we can select our rectangle tool, and we're going to click here and drag, and it's going to be the this total distance of this is 38 divided by 2 for that guy, and this is going to be a height value of, or the thickness of this thing is 9 inside of there. So we can build that that shape. I didn't type that in right. Yeah, so I didn't type that value in right. That's fine. We'll just move it later. I'll show you how to do that. So now we have this inside of here. We can move this down. So we can select this, and you can select on either one of these because we basically want to get this middle point and move it down to there. So we can just move that curve down so it's in the center. Now that we have this, we want to project this arc or this cylinder to be used as our shape, because that's going to give us our value. And if you look at the dimension, this is a 0.54059 distance value. So we're just basically trimming off the stuff that we don't need, because what we want is actually that arc value there. So we're just going to trim this stuff off here. And if you look at that, that's going to give us our radius of 19. And then I mentioned that I didn't do that value correctly. When I did that, I didn't hit tab or when I typed that in. So what I can do here is actually just do a coincident constraint to basically put that onto the center point of that guy. So let's make sure I get that right. The coincident of this curve, there we go, to that point. There we go. So that's our profile for this. So that's going to be what's going to be swept inside of here. So if we select out, you can see from our preview, that's going to be our, this is our path, that's our shape, and we're going to go ahead and hit OK. So that builds out our shape for us in the right height value for us and everything. And last but not least is the cylinder in the middle. So we just drop this in here. It has a value of 20 for the diameter. And last, I forgot one more thing, is we have to do a blend here. So we'll go ahead and select these two, blend these. Are going to be 4 millimeters. And we can hit OK to that to apply that. So that's quickly how you can build this in IronCAD. Again, a mixture of drag and drop and using a sweep path to build this shape to maintain that curvature, that 19 millimeter curvature all the way around on that particular shape. So if we look at this and go to our properties, again, they give us a density of 7,800, so the mass for this is 179. So that's how you can build this in IronCAD. Fairly easy to do. So just showing you a few ways to do this, tips and tricks on how to do it in IronCAD. So hopefully you enjoyed.